Okay, special request for or from one of my students, Mazin, to answer question 7 part D. Well, I'm going to go through the whole question. This is question 7 in May, June 2017, paper 4, variant 1. I'll go to the whole question in case there are some students out there who need to revise this topic from the basics. So bear with me, Mr. Mazin. Okay, now, so a line joins the points A, minus 3, 8, and B, 2, minus 2. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of AB. Now, the midpoint of a line, okay, is, you could say, the average of the x coordinates and the average of the y coordinates. And how do you find the average of two numbers? You add them together and divide by 2. So the midpoint, you take the x coordinates, which are minus 3 and 2, and you add them together, and you divide by 2. And for the y coordinate of the midpoint, you take the y coordinates of the 2 points. So y coordinate of A is 8, the y coordinate of B is minus 2, and you add, I can write it like this, I suppose, 8 plus minus 2, which is 8 minus 2, divided by 2, and you end up with minus 3 plus 2, which is minus 1 over 2, so you get minus a half, and 8 minus 2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. So minus a half and 3 is the coordinates of, or are the coordinates of, the midpoint of the line segments between A and B. Okay, now, the second part of the question says, find the equation of the line through A and B, and give your answer in the form y equals mx plus c. So, to find the equation of a line, we need 2 bits of information. We need to know what the gradient of the line is, and we need to know any point on the line, any point that we want on the line. Okay, could be any point. Now here we actually have 3 points that are on the line. We have point A, point B, and the midpoint. They're all on this same straight line. Okay, however, it's best for us to use one of the 2 points which were given rather than the midpoint, in case we made a mistake in calculating the midpoint. Okay, as I mentioned in another video, it's better for us to use the points that we know for sure that are given rather than the point we have calculated in case we made a mistake. And that way, we won't get a follow-through error if we use something which is incorrect, even if we do the right steps. We'll get some method marks for the answer mark, there will be no follow-through for it. Okay, so now, it's up to you to decide which one of these 2 points to use. You could use A or B. Okay, I'm going to use B first, just to show you. Okay, so we've got 2 and minus 2. There's not much between them. Okay, it's just these are smaller numbers, so I suppose that's what's best. Okay, second, well, before that we should know the gradient. Now the gradient of the line is how it changes, how it rises or how it falls. It's a measure of how it rises or falls between those 2 points. Okay, now if I make we don't need to really do this, but just for the purposes of some of you to understand, if I make a little sketch, okay, of a pair of axes, and I have the point A minus 3, 8, minus 3, 8 up here somewhere, it's not to scale at all, and 2 and minus 2, okay, somewhere down here, okay, 2 and minus 2 down here somewhere, and I join those 2 points together with a straight line. Okay, I'll get something that looks like this. It's not accurate. Okay, I want to find the gradient of this line. Okay, so that's the point A, and that's the point B. Now the gradient of the line is the change in the y coordinates divided by the change in the x coordinates. So it tells us it's a measure of how the graph rises or falls divided by how it runs. Okay, the rise over the run. Okay, so we just need to do the following. We need to just take the difference between the y coordinates for 2 points in any one direction. So for example, I can do the y coordinate of A, which is 8, minus the y coordinate of B, which is minus 2. Be very careful about the signs here. Divided by, and you've got the x coordinate of A, which is negative 3, minus the x coordinate of B, which is 2. So here you have 8 minus minus 2, which is plus 10, which is 8 plus 2, which is 10. and you got negative 3 minus 2, which is negative 5. So you end up with negative 2. So the gradient is negative 2, and that kind of makes sense from our diagram. Our diagram is a negative gradient. I haven't put the points into scale, so it doesn't really look like it's a negative 2 gradient in terms of it's the way it slopes, but that's just a sketch. So the gradient is negative 2. Okay, so now we have everything we need to draw, or sorry, to find the equation of the line. Okay, so what we can do is we can say, you can use this formula that they gave us, y equals mx plus c. Now our y is the y coordinate of the point that we're using, our x is the x coordinate of the point that we're using, and our m is the gradient, which is minus 2. M is a symbol that stands for gradient, by the way. Okay, this m is different from this m, I wrote here. This m is like a capital M means a midpoint, and this m is a small m, which means the gradient. It's just given that symbol for some reason. Okay, so the y coordinate of the point that we're using is minus 2. The gradient is also minus 2. The x coordinate of the point that we're using is 2. And what we need to find is c in order to write the equation of the line. So that's the only thing we don't know in this formula. So we've got minus 2 equals minus 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. You have to add 4 to both sides. So you have minus 2 or negative 4 plus, so negative 2 plus 4 equals c. Therefore, c is equal to 2. Okay? So our sketch was a bit messed up there. So c is equal to 2. All right, so we can say that y equals the value of m, which is minus 2, x plus 2. So y equals minus 2x plus 2 is the equation of this line. Okay, I'm going to stop there and do parts C and D in a separate video so that Marzin won't have to listen through all this that he knows already. Okay, you can skip straight to the next video. Okay, thank you very much for listening.